Tonight on 48 Hours.
There he is.
Here we come.
They are born before their time.
He's really not developed enough to be outside the womb at this point.
More pressure on him.
All right, here we go.
And the fight to save them is on.
If it wasn't for our support, no, he wouldn't be here.
Just do well, son.
The hard choices.
I cannot guarantee that this little guy is going to come out of this as a normal baby.
The heartbreak.
You know, I just want him to get better. Good job, Steve. There are days I think maybe he would have been better off not to have made it.
And the hope.
Happy birthday to you.
See all these little kids and how well they're doing. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Another battle is about to begin. The battle for the life of a baby. A premature baby. The smallest survivor. The battleground, the highly advanced neonatal intensive care units in major hospitals around the country. There, the tiniest human beings imaginable. Some born nearly 4 months early, weighing not much more than a pound. Babies that wouldn't have had a chance 5 years ago are surviving. But there are costs, financial and emotional costs, and questions. Questions about the quality of the life being saved. It's a high-stakes drama that can begin for any parent right in the middle of a seemingly healthy pregnancy.
It used to be simple. Babies were born after 9 months. Much earlier than that, they just didn't make it. But it's not that simple anymore. Not with today's remarkable technology and miracle drugs. A 30-year-old woman is rushed to a hospital delivery room in Cleveland. She's gone into labor, more than 4 months early. 24 weeks pregnant, it's a real question whether her baby can be saved. The neonatal intensive care staff from Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital is called.
There he is. Very small.
Here we come.
It's alive, weighing in at just over a pound.
What is the rule when a baby like this is born?
How do we decide? Well, in this day and age, if we have a baby who's over 500 grams and vigorous at birth, we will offer that baby support.
Here at 1 minute.
Dr. Marty Miller and her staff face these questions on a daily basis. How young is too young? How small is too small?
We are pushing back the boundaries all the time, and that's a tremendous burden and tremendous responsibility for us.
The baby's active, pink, and he's a boy.
Right. It's kind of around 100.
He is alive, but too premature to stay that way without the help of very modern medicine.
He's really not developed enough to be outside the womb at this point.
11 minutes old, and the as yet unnamed baby boy goes on his first trip down the hall to the neonatal intensive care unit. He's beginning the roller coaster ride into life on the frontier of science.
Here we go.
If it wasn't for our support and for the extraordinary advances we've made in supporting such babies, you know, he wouldn't be here.
If he's 24 weeks gestation, what is his chance for survival then?
Okay, we think that his chance for survival is about 30%.
That's really low.
It is. It is.
More pressure on him.
All right, here we go.
After just 18 minutes, the baby has his first crisis.
He's gasping a little bit.
He was born before his lungs developed.
Even though we're giving him adequate oxygenation, this suggests that his lungs are really tissue-like. This X-ray suggests that we're going to have very grave difficulty supporting this baby because his lungs are underdeveloped.
Underdeveloped lungs are common in preemies.
And we're ordering some surfactant.
Great.
And for some, a drug called surfactant does the trick.
His main problem is his lungs are undoubtedly extremely fetal. Surfactant will allow his lungs to expand to the maximum level possible and give him the best chance he can have.
Right now, it's the baby's only hope.
Even with every bit of help that we have, we still may not be able to keep him alive.
Dr. Miller, let's be honest. Even 5 years ago, this baby would have been born and we would have said it was a miscarriage. We wouldn't have been able to save him.
Our whole picture of these infants has changed over the last 5 years because we didn't have many survivors before. Now, you know, when we look at Mr. Ward over there, he's doubled his weight, he is one of the smallest children we've ever had survive.
Luther Ward was born at the same very early age as his new roommate.
He and his twin were very ill to start with.
His twin sister Esty died. Luther has thrived.
At the time, I said, these little twins don't have a chance in the world.
And how is he doing after 3.5 months here?
Luther is he's just a star.
So you're not keeping him alive by any artificial means now?
No, he's breathing on his own. I mean, and that is absolutely incredible.
But on the other side of the nursery, there's the other side of the story. Mikey McClellan.
Michael is a little boy who has chronic lung disease, is 9 months of age, and is a candidate for lung transplantation. Hi, Mikey. How's he doing today?
After all this time, Mikey's own lungs have never developed. Unless he gets new ones, he will die before he's ever lived the life of a healthy baby.
I mean, his experiences are largely medical experiences, right? I mean, he's in a hospital. Most of what he's experienced in his life has been blood drawing, and test doing, and suctioning, and things like that.
But that's sad. All he knows is getting poked or prodded or tested. Some people would look at him and say, that's not quality of life, that's not a childhood.
Well, how can we say what he thinks, right? How do we know what he feels? If he can play with a toy and he can be happy and he can enjoy his family and laugh and smile with them, I mean, maybe that's as much as we can hope for him right now.
We're playing at 9 tonight. No,
We try and keep our outlook as positive as possible.
Is that hard sometimes?
Very hard.
Mikey's parents, Mike and Melissa.
You just wonder when it's going to stop. You know, I just want him to get better. You know, I see mothers taking the babies home and stuff, and that's hard.
But it's only going to get harder. A new brain scan shows that Mikey has more than just lung damage.
He may have had some tissue loss. The area of the gray matter is thinner than it normally would be.
So his brain has shrunk a bit.
Yes, that's right.
If he doesn't improve on his own and he doesn't get the lung transplant,
Well, if either of those do not occur, he has probably a 60 to 70% chance of dying over the next 2 years of his lung disease, still in the hospital.
so he may never go home.
He may never go home.
You guys smile for me. Come on. There you go. We cherish every day we have with him. He's strong. He's a fighter.
We're not going to quit on him because he hasn't quit on us yet.
Overnight, another fighter continues the battle for life.
Diaper's wet.
Remember our newborn? Well, right now, he's riding high. Only 24 hours old, he's lived long enough to get a name. He's John Roberts.
How is he doing?
He's doing remarkably well for how small he is. You know, we were a little pessimistic. In fact, we were a lot pessimistic when he first came out.
But it's still too early. Technology can't yet predict which babies will thrive like Luther Ward or struggle like Mikey McClellan.
You've made so many advances in saving babies' lives. Have you made those same advances in making sure they have normal lives?
In the children who are over 25 weeks gestation, those children have probably a 70 to 80% chance of a completely normal outcome. And that group has benefited from the improvement in our care. Now, the question really that I have, and we all have, is what's going to happen to those children who are very tiny, who are 23 to 25 weeks gestation. Those children we don't know what their outcome is going to be. It looks like their incidence of eye injury, hearing loss, mental retardation, motor delay is higher than the older children, than the children who are more developed at birth. We have no crystal ball. We are not prophets.
The roller coaster ride goes on, day to day, hour to hour.
Stephen. We went in the hospital to have our normal, perfect baby. Stephen, are we ready to get up yet? And come home with a baby that was just like every other baby. Hi. Are you ready to get up?
Joan Roberts' son should be riding a tricycle or playing with toy trucks by now.
Do you want some French toast?
Were all the signs good?
We thought so. They thought so. I still need a big hug. They told us this is great. I mean, he's doing wonderful.
The odds at first were in Stephen's favor.
There's our frying pan. We'll turn around this way.
Born at 29 weeks, he weighed 3 pounds.
Crack it. Oh, it's starting. I see it. Look. Hurry.
That often promises a good outcome.
It didn't turn out that way. Can you turn it over? Good job, Steve. You did it. I saw that. You did a really good job, too. Yay!
Stephen was cared for at another Cleveland area hospital, not Rainbow.
You did it. You're so good at this. They say it was the second day of life that he had the bleed. Dig in. It was a very large bleed, and it would probably have affected every major center of his brain. Did you get it in? Put your head up.
9 months later, the Roberts learned that Stephen has cerebral palsy due to his early birth.
Well, we have to do our exercises. Is this good? It was the doctor's recommendation that we put Stephen in a home, and he felt that it would be best for the whole family if we just put him away and visited him on the weekends and got on with our life.
But you chose not to do that.
No, we chose to bring him home. He's our son. You're relaxing. Good job.
Joan tries to teach him to do what most other 4-year-olds can do naturally.
Get that head forward. You're cheating.
Hold his head up.
There. Look at how great you look. Stand up. Real tall. Real tall. Push up. Yes.
Sit straight and talk.
I like that guy.
You like that guy, I know. You gotta loosen your hand a little bit. Okay, is it working?
It is a slow and often painful struggle.
See Jasmine, Stephen.
Not just for Stephen, but for his whole family.
Tell me, if you would, all of the things that have happened to your family as a result of having him.
We have had many financial problems. We've had our cars repossessed. The hospital had threatened foreclosure on the home. We were kind of forced into the bankruptcy. We've had emotional problems. My husband and I's marriage was failing. There were many periods of separation. My children suffered too. At one point, one of the children was talking about suicide, and we had to look for help for that child also.
Look, we caught it.
The Roberts say they face their problems virtually alone.
There it goes. They used every modern technical advance to save him, and I'm grateful for that. But they threw us into a real state of despair here at home because we didn't know how we were going to go on from that point. We kind of expected them to give us helpful hints and all kinds of directions to go and maybe agencies that we could be hooked up with, and they gave us nothing. I mean, they gave us absolutely nothing.
Society does not support them very much.
Dr. Maureen Hack of Rainbow Hospital is an expert on the development of babies born weighing less than 5 pounds.
Insurance companies, or even the state, they tend to pay for the hospitalization. Once the families go home, there is very little financial support, and the out-of-pocket expenses are enormous.
We're saying, save them, do whatever it takes, you know, make that child live, but then we're dumping them into a society that's not ready to take care of them. It's fine. What is your favorite letter? There's a C.
Did you ever have any conversations with the doctors there about letting him go?
Yes, we did. We felt he was suffering unnecessarily, that maybe it was time for him to be taken off life support. And I recall asking the intern that was in charge if that was an option, if we had any choice in that regard. And he said that no, we didn't.
With all our technology, we keep a kid alive who might not otherwise be alive.
Oh, definitely, definitely. The general consensus in this country is that it is worthwhile. It's partly a right to life expression to keep every possible child alive, and partly the use of technology and the expectation that we can produce perfection.
It is a high-tech gamble whose consequences can be devastating.
You want to color this guy? Okay.
But often it pays off.
We're going to do some reading, and we're going to do some drawing.
We have a little miracle girl on our hands.
You just turned 5.
Sandy Lambeau's entrance into this world was at much higher risk than Stephen Roberts.
Put your finger on the cat.
She beat incredible odds.
She was born at 24 weeks, and she weighed 1 pound, 5 ounces.
Build me a square now. Has to be this color.
Sandy, who spent 4 months in the neonatal intensive care unit at Rainbow,
Oh, good for you.
is a normal, healthy child who entered kindergarten this fall, fulfilling her mother Nancy's dreams.
Here we are.
The majority of premature infants do grow up to lead normal lives.
I always had that feeling inside of me that she would one day be in kindergarten.
Do you like to be called Sandra or Sandy? Sandy.
But for those babies at greatest risk, the ethical dilemma remains.
Uh-oh, here's the favorite part.
There are no guarantees about the quality of a life saved.
Are you glad now that they didn't let you take him off life supports?
Oh, that's tough too. Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Go get the video painter. Here I come. I got the cord. Do you have the video painter?
When I see advances, when I see Stephen's joy, when I see the progress that he makes and his feeling of self-esteem, and when he's so happy with himself, I'm really glad that he made it.
Come on, get over there, because we're not going to play unless you have the video painter. You're almost there. You there? Yay, we can play.
There are days, though, when he's ill and we're in the hospital and he didn't sleep for 2 or 3 days and he's losing weight and he's having all kinds of trouble. And I think what a sad thing that the quality of his life is like this. Maybe he would have been better off not to have made it. You kind of flip back and forth all the time, and I think that's real normal.
I bet you can't get your head up again.
This is the first time Janice Davis has seen her little boy Marcus since he was born. 6 weeks premature, his lungs are failing. It's a shock for her and her husband Charles.
He's in a real delicate situation.
A new crisis for Dr. Marty Miller and her staff.
We ask you to come here today because he is at the limit of what we can give in the way of conventional management. Right? We have a special ventilator breathing for him. He's on medication to support his heart. He's on special nutrition.
That's actually the ventilator. That's the breathing pattern you'll see. Now, he's not doing any of that effort. That's the ventilator breathing for him.
If you want to touch his hand, it's okay. Say hello to him.
Can we see his face? Sure. Okay.
He's so tiny.
Yeah.
Despite the doctor's best efforts, Marcus Allen Davis is dying.
At this stage, he has received everything we know how to do. There is nothing save ECMO that we have to offer him.
The only hope for baby Davis may be a high-tech procedure known as ECMO.
But there's a dilemma here. ECMO has risks. At the same time that it could breathe life into this tiny baby, it could also severely damage other parts of his body.
It's ECMO, and it stands for extracorporeal membrane oxygenation.
Dr. Eileen Stork is the director of ECMO.
And it basically is an artificial heart-lung machine that takes the blood out of the baby's body, oxygenates it in an artificial lung, and then it circulates to the body.
That gives the baby's lungs a chance to heal and grow stronger.
The children who go on ECMO have a very good chance for survival. Their survival rate is about 90%. Your son's is not that good.
Dr. Stork is careful to lay out the risks their baby faces.
I cannot guarantee that this little guy is going to come out of this as a normal baby.
He's at greater risk because he is premature, and he could have hemorrhage and severe brain hemorrhage specifically if we put him on ECMO. So we're being a little more conservative about our criteria for ECMO on this baby for that reason.
ECMO might save this baby's life but cause severe brain damage.
It could. That's exactly correct. Specifically in him because he's 34 weeks.
For now, Marcus is holding on.
Just get well, son.
Janice and Charles have time to discuss what may be the most difficult decision of their lives.
It's not an easy decision. It's not easy for us, and it's not easy for the family, and there's no right or wrong or black and white.
Have you made up your mind?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want them to go ahead with it?
Yes, I do.
But is your husband still not sure?
He's not sure, but I am.
For the baby's mother, it's a simple question of life or death.
If he has brain damage, well, that's okay. If it's only learn to tie his shoe or something or button his shirt, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I'd be satisfied with that.
For the baby's father, the question is, what kind of life?
It scares me at the moment.
You forget, without ECMO,
Oh, I know that.
we have a dead child.
That's true, true.
So all this other stuff, it doesn't even enter into it.
Yes, but
No, it doesn't.
I'm afraid of it because there's no percentage that I can read in black and white.
I don't need a percentage to know that I want my child to live. And if this is what it takes for my child to live, then this is what you do.
I agree with you on that too, sweetheart. But like I said, I'm afraid. I'm tired to be afraid.
I'm afraid too.
For the 13-year-old brother, Tracy, there's no debate at all.
I think they should put him on that ECMO machine to give him a chance to live.
Marcus is the only brother he's ever had.
What do you think when you see him sitting there?
I think that he may live and he may not live, or he'll never get better. He always be in that state. I'd like to see that as a brother.
But Janice and Charles will have to make their decision sooner than they thought. Baby Marcus takes a turn for the worse later.
Also ahead on 48 Hours. If Cowboy Ray were your baby, how much would you pay to save him?
Those are not all bills.
Oh, yeah. This is only a portion.
We'll tell you the price his mother paid when we come back.
Hey, Ray.
Around the hospital, he's known as Cowboy Ray.
He's a real fighter, even when he's sick.
Ray, happy birthday to you.
Ray Tolley is spending his first birthday in the only home he's known, a neonatal intensive care unit. He's been in Rainbows longer than anyone else.
A lot of heartache, a lot of frustration.
Ray's mom, Veronica, lives across town with his 7-year-old brother, Kevin.
He's real little.
Did you put your book bag, your books in your book bag?
It hasn't been an easy year.
Gotta be strong for the baby and for him.
Veronica and her husband split up.
He went back to his ex-wife.
and she lost her medical insurance.
I couldn't afford it.
Wait a minute. Those are not all bills.
Oh, yeah. This is only a portion.
Here's one. All right, this is radiology.
The medical bills keep piling up.
There are lots of them.
Here's a bill, $10,558.
It's just a total mess, really.
Well, I noticed that a lot of these bills aren't open. Why not?
I don't want to deal with it. I have enough to deal with right now.
But there are good days,
Go to the hospital.
and this is one of them.
Well, you haven't seen your brother since November. What are you going to say to him?
I love you.
But first, there's school for Kevin and Veronica's daily trip to the nursery.
Can Mom for baby Tolly come back? Thank you. Okay.
The time that I spend with him. I don't worry about anything else that's going on. Nothing.
Whoops. What is this here, Veronica?
This is the ventilator. Gives him breaths and oxygen. There we go.
Even after 12 months, it's still science that's keeping Ray alive.
Hey, sweetie, gotta have this to grow.
Day to day, Veronica wages the same critical battle.
Swallow that.
To get Ray to eat and gain weight.
Because the more weight he gains, the better his lungs are going to be, the more...
Kathy Nolan is Ray's nurse.
Grow new lung tissue, he'll get off the ventilator.
Just so he could, you know, be a normal baby and breathe on his own.
At this point, we could count on another year of that being in.
Is that what you were expecting, Veronica? Another year on the
ventilator?
No.
Every additional day Ray stays in intensive care adds another $2,000 to his hospital bill.
Some are old, but there's new ones.
So Veronica is seeking help from a hospital billing counselor.
Were there any pending legal action? I see this is from an attorney.
There's a couple.
Something else.
Do you have the total amount that her son has, the treatment for her son has cost?
Okay, well, based on what we have, it runs now about $687,000.
But Veronica will only pay a tiny fraction of
I'm
that.
looking at is close to $1,800 of unpaid expenses.
I don't owe that much. I don't have to worry about paying it.
Who does? The taxpayer.
You sign right here.
Veronica is on welfare, so Medicaid will pay about half the bill.
The rest of it, nobody else will pay for it. That is basically a loss to the hospital.
And the hospital, says President Farrah Walters, passes on most of that loss to patients who do pay.
I mean, ultimately, that is how the system works.
But for how long? Nationwide, the cost of health care for very tiny preemies like Ray is $1 billion a year and rising.
Are we spending millions of dollars on babies that only 50% of those are going to survive?
Who is going to decide which 50% will do well? What if that was your infant?
Oh, boy.
What would you want the hospital to do?
Look around. Now you can look around, Ray.
What would you say if someone said, is it really worth the effort and the money to keep him alive?
I'd say, yeah, it's worth every bit of it. He's mine. And I would not want them to give up on him just because of money.
Ma, can you tie this?
Neither would Kevin. He's about to see his brother.
That one right there. Hi, baby Ray. He's happy today. Next time I saw him, he didn't have this much hair.
No, he didn't. It's just gone off because he's moving. He knows that he's got problems. He just doesn't understand why he has to be in here for so long.
Why is he going out of the hospital?
I don't know. It's still going to be quite a while.
Oh, bye-bye.
Does he get cake today?
Yeah.
All right.
And now, Cowboy Ray is getting his party.
With all his buddies.
Yeah.
But it's more than just a celebration of his first year.
I'm really going to miss him. I've had him for about 8 months now, and...
Ray is finally moving out of intensive care.
Happy birthday to you.
The first step towards going home.
My son has never given up. He's a fighter.
To you.
Suddenly, across the aisle from Ray Tully's celebration,
We need a stat chest film on baby Moore, please.
a crisis.
Like 34/35.
And chest X-ray is on its way out.
An ultrasound is on its way. Your heart rate's dropping, guys.
The new admission, a baby girl, has taken a turn for the worse.
Could be a mechanical problem. She could be bleeding.
Just 3 hours earlier,
How far away are you?
Nurse Liz Powers was waiting for baby Moore to arrive.
25 minutes? They're having trouble with the baby's blood pressure. They're having trouble with the baby's heart rate.
Even after 6 years in neonatal intensive care,
Yeah, my heart's like going at 160 beats a minute here.
working with critically ill preemies doesn't get any easier.
We're as ready as we can be for whatever comes in, but you can't help but think, you know, am I going to be able to handle this again? The baby's about 750 grams, 24 weeks. I need a sterile 3cc syringe, please. Oh, don't cry, sweetie. Heart rate is in the high 170s now. His pressure is just over 40.
The baby is temporarily stabilized.
I'm tired, but hopefully the baby will do fine, and I can go home and come back tomorrow and start another day.
When her shift ends,
Have a good one.
Liz transfers the care of baby Moore to Cindy Bodendorfer.
I know the baby's in good hands, so hopefully we'll have a good outcome.
But less than an hour later,
We need a stat chest film on baby Moore, please.
When those alarms go off, what did you see in her case?
Well, what I saw was her oxygenation dropping drastically. I saw her blood pressure dropping drastically. And when those two things happen simultaneously, it usually means that the baby is bleeding somewhere. The most common place is in her head.
Yeah, there's a bleed in the ventricle, like right too.
Oh, I have to change the tube for the jet.
in a last-ditch effort, a new kind of breathing machine is tried.
If the jet doesn't work, then there's unfortunately not much else we can do for her.
She's on 32/3, so I don't think she's going to last.
None of the new medical miracles has worked for baby Moore.
The small percentage that we lose, it doesn't make it any easier. The hope of sending a baby home to their parents was what keeps us going. And you always have to try. As I said, you never know which babies are going to make it and which ones aren't. We can't just let them go lying on that table and not having anybody touch them or hold them.
Got it? Yeah, I got it.
I kind of feel like if we can't save her, at least we can make going a little easier for her.
The parents of Marcus Davis have run out of time.
Take an x-ray here?
They have to decide now whether to connect their baby son to an artificial lung, the device known as ECMO.
The child might die. This is a very real possibility.
They've been debating this decision for 24 hours now. Because he's premature, Marcus is at risk for hemorrhaging and brain damage from the very machine that could save his life.
What has this period of time been like?
Pure hell. It's up and down. It's like a roller coaster, and it's just up and down.
Yes, I heard you feeling deep down.
The time is now critical. Marcus is dying, and the doctors need a decision.
I think it's time.
Okay. Charles?
Janice Davis's dream is to see her baby boy breathing on his own, off the machines that keep him alive, but keep her from holding him.
All I see is my little boy laying there, and he can't respond, and you touch him, and nothing. That's all I see.
Blood pressure's coming up.
He'll be all right.
The surgery takes less than an hour.
All right, lifted.
Unclamp the arterial. Unclamp the venous.
We're on bypass.
Short and successful.
He's fine. It's all over but the shouting now.
Dr. Stork carries the good news to the parents.
Well, things went very smoothly. And the baby's on the bypass machine. It'll be probably an hour before you can go in, but it went very, very smoothly. Couldn't have expected better. I suspect you may actually, what I suspect is that we'll see some breathing. On his own. That would be the first thing you see before you actually see them moving around very much. You see them taking a few breaths on their own. So
maybe tomorrow.
No, it could be as soon as tonight.
It's so wonderful that we have this kind of therapy to offer. You know, 5 years ago, we did not have ECMO. Now we can offer critically ill children a chance of life who 5 years ago just would have no chance at all.
How am I doing?
A sigh of relief and a phone call to the rest of the family. Marcus is okay, for now.
You are not going to believe this. Within an hour from now, Marcus is actually going to wake up. You would not believe how I feel right now.
This is a special day for the Hutter family.
You gotta love this. It's kind of classy, huh?
Yeah. He deserves it.
Yeah, he does.
Today, baby Ryan is coming home for the first time since he was born.
I got butterflies in my stomach.
My heart is racing.
After waiting 12 weeks,
Seemed like 12 years.
Lorne, Dion, and 15-month-old Emily plan to bring their baby Ryan home from the hospital in style in a hired limousine.
What do you want to do when we first get home?
Just hold him.
Dion went into labor suddenly at 34 weeks and gave birth to a very sick baby.
They gave him a 10% chance to live. Well, he beat the odds, but it was a long road going there.
This is a route I never want to take again.
Yeah.
If they tell me I can't take him today, I'm taking him anyways. I will. I will. There's my guy.
Hello.
Oh, come here. Okay, honey. Gosh, I can't believe how big he got.
Still can't believe we're taking him with this system.
I know.
He's going.
I can't believe somebody's not going to stop me before I get out there.
Yeah. Like I said,
Bruce, could you help? I don't know if I'm doing this right, and I'm making him very mad. Oh.
Are you okay?
Are you going to a special dinner tonight or something? Huh? Are you going somewhere special?
Yeah, home.
It's one of my rewards in nursing, seeing them go home with their parents.
Ryan's primary nurse, Ruth Philbrick.
So I hate to see him leave because he's so cute, you know, and my interaction with Mom, too. I'll miss them.
A few last-minute tips.
Tells you a little bit about the iron, a little bit about the multivitamins, how to get meds.
And most important, how to recognize trouble.
Not very many wet diapers. Breathing harder.
It's all a reminder that little Ryan's problems are not over.
He'll get blue around the mouth.
Yeah, they do.
And that Dion and Lorne will soon be on their own with him.
Nope. I'm scared out of my mind.
Great.
Thank you so much.
I'm really going to miss you. I think I'll miss you
Good
too.
nurse. You're a really good nurse. You've been like my mom.
Oh, well, thanks.
Bye.
Take care. He's been through more in his short life than I'll probably ever go through in mine.